Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. Episode 1 is the truth, nothing to lie about. You can see the pain in my heart, nothing to cry about. Pops wasn't there from the start, but he was in and out. Ma took a trip to Boston, I'm at my granny house. She ain't really fuck with my dad, on me she took it out. Not saying that she didn't love me, but had to figure out. 2 kids in the house, why my treatment different now? Kick me out, go and get the whistle, it's official now. Young nigga on the block, wildin'.
Hello. And welcome back to Coffee, Cannabis, and Consciousness, simplistically known as the C3 Podcast. I am your host, Josh Reno. Alongside me is my co-host, Ian Thompson. How you doing today, Ian?
I'm excellent. Never been better.
And we have a special guest today who is joining us, Mr. Garrett Richard. How you doing, Garrett?
I'm all right. How about yourself?
We're doing great, man. Thanks for taking the time to come and hang out with us. Come and enjoy some coffee, cannabis, and talk a bit about life.
Anytime,
so it'll be good.
anytime.
Some cannabi.
All right, guys, we got a good little combination here for you. So I got Vermont Coffee Company, their organic dark roast. I picked it up at Big Y. Yeah, I'm excited to try this one out. It's actually been my daily drinker for the last week or so. I've shared it with
You're gonna have some good insight on it?
Well, yeah, I've shared it with some of my coworkers.
Okay.
They gave some good feedback, so looks like it could be pretty good. And then for the bud, we have Ace Weidman's Wicked Fine Blunts. So it's actually wrapped in a blunt wrap.
Oh, it's a blunt wrap.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
went with
That's
that.
something new.
Yeah, I know, right? Bringing it back to the to the
old days.
hot box days. Yeah. And this is called Cookies and Cream. So we've had milk and cookies in the past from Farmer Jeff, and that was excellent.
I was gonna say it sounded like familiar. I was like, did we sample that strain before? But obviously, maybe it's a close relative.
Yeah. This is Cookies and Cream number 9. Yeah, so I'm excited to try this out. This was recommended by the bud tenders over at Dreamer Cannabis, and that's in Southampton. It's on the East Hampton-Southampton border. Very nice place, very well put together. The dude I worked with, I will admit, he was super stoned. I mean, maybe, I don't know.
You never get high on your own supply,
I was just like, dude, this guy is moving slow.
Sometimes those are the best ones to deal with.
He was keeping it real. I told him, exactly what I was looking for. So he hooked me up with this. An interesting topic that we'll get to eventually. I mean, among other things, we're going to talk about fatherhood today, which is an interesting topic, I think, for all of us, considering we have 3 different perspectives. I myself am a single father. Ian has no children of his own. And Garrett, you're the father of how many?
3, 10-year-old and twins that are 4, all of which are on the autism spectrum.
Yeah, and you live with your lovely wife, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So just 3 different kind of perspectives about fatherhood in general. So I think we'll all have something to bring to the table. So excited for that too. But without further ado, let's get into the coffee here. This is Vermont Coffee Company's Organic Dark Roast. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Well, just a little FYI for you guys. I haven't been smoking cannabis for, I think it's been probably close to a month now, almost.
Nice. Taking a tolerance break.
Yeah, taking a little tolerance break. But I was just going to say, I only brought that up to segue into the fact that, I've been drinking, the coffee I've been drinking lately has been kind of, I've been feeling it more, if that makes sense. Maybe it's because, my senses aren't dulled from, THC or whatever, but I feel like maybe the caffeine is just, everything seems, heightened as far as for when I have my coffee.
You're just more aware to your senses.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm not dulled down and, stoned out or, so it's, it's definitely been different. I've been enjoying it still, though. You know what I mean?
Then you don't get that film covering your tongue, so you get to enjoy the true flavor of everything.
Well, that too, yeah. And I'm not as dried out in general, so I think that probably has a lot to do with it. I'm not smoking anything, so it's I think when you smoke, it kind of hinders your taste buds in a way anyway.
100%.
So I know, like, it was like when I quit smoking cigarettes, I could, like, it was like I was learning how to taste again. And, like, I know it's weed and I'm not smoking it as often as I was smoking cigarettes, but, like, there's still a difference. I can still feel the difference in, like, how things taste and sit in my mouth. And, you know, it's been different, but I've been enjoying the change, you know.
Well, first of all, I support your tolerance break, so
I wish I could do it.
yeah, no worries that we'll be
I'll
just
say
smoking
this.
in front of you.
You guys are fine, but it was tough. Like the first few days, like when you're like a daily smoker, and like not just a daily smoker, when you're like smoking like a couple times a day, and like you just stop, like it was like a part of my routine in my life. So I think it's always I think no matter what it is, it's always kind of hard to switch up. Whether that's like going to the gym every day or like when you're trying to do something new with yourself, whether stick to a diet or anything like that, it's always kind of like a shock to your system.
Oh yeah, it's like that 96-hour pattern.
Right, exactly. So like it's you know, it's much better now. Like I said, I'm about almost a month into this tolerance break, and every day's gotten better. But it's almost to the point now where I feel like I'm like, oh man, how long can I keep it going for? But I'm not in no rush to pick back up. But when it's time, it's time. You know what I mean? But not that I'm obviously not hating on anything. It's been good though.
I respect it and I support it. Yeah, just you can keep it together. You can keep us together now.
I'll keep us. I'll try my
cohesive.
best. I'm still I'm still an idiot savant, but I'll say this: dark roasted coffee. You can tell it's a dark roast. It's bold.
For not being a big coffee drinker, it's not that bad. Does not leave a lingering aftertaste whatsoever.
Yeah, it doesn't have the chalkiness. You know what I mean? That most bold stuff has. You kind of get the clunky chalkiness of it. It's a richness. You know, like we always talk about bitter chocolate. I can taste the more chocolatey notes in here, and not just the bitterness. Like I can taste some of the sweeter chocolate notes in this particular coffee. I'll give you guys a little bit of history too. I mean, there's not much here for Vermont Coffee Company. It was founded in the year 2000, and 2 years ago, the owner actually sold it to a Stonewall Kitchen family of brands. So now it is kind of under an umbrella. So it's part of a family of brands now.
But conglomeration of
But it did start off like it just recently happened to sale. So. It did start off as like a homegrown grassroots type thing, small batch stuff. But, I'm not sure how the quality may have changed since then. But, it's pretty good coffee now. You can pick this up as well at Big Y is where I got it. And, it's a good cup. Like I said, it's been my daily drink for about a week. Energy I get from it is uplifting. I don't feel wired. And it doesn't really make me feel, actually I will say it does make me feel dehydrated when I'm done like with the cup. Like right. I definitely need a drink of water.
I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but there's a real good coffee shop over on Route 9 in Hadley.
Would that be Shelburne Falls?
No,
a different one. Okay.
Route 9. Which one's Route is?
That's that goes through where the Hampshire Mall is.
Oh, yeah. My wife worked off of Route 9. Yeah,
There's a lot of really, and that whole area is actually really great for.
There's like the Trader Joe's down there and all
Trader
that.
Joe's, all that.
Okay. I bet Hadley seems like a place that would have like a good coffee roaster. You know what I mean? It's one of those earthy, crunchy towns that I feel like should have like.
Well, it was just one of those places I found out about just because I had to go do a call there for my job and offering me stuff while I'm working there, and I'm like, this place is really good.
Perks of the job, right?
Oh, I love it. Favorite one's Hot Table. I love getting the calls at Hot Table.
Now, do you drink coffee every day? What's your relationship with coffee like?
Depends. More definitely in the colder months, a coffee drinker versus the summer months. My go-to for caffeine is a Red Bull, which I'm been trying like hell to get away from because it's starting to tear my stomach apart. But
I used to be a Red Bull drinker myself. Like when it came to like energy drinks, at least like that was my energy drink of choice was like a Red Bull.
Well, I just caffeine because working in the plumbing sewer industry and being the guy that fixes it when it's clogged, it's kind of hard to drink coffee and need a bathroom when you don't have access to it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No. When you put it that way, that makes way more sense now.
I learned to steer clear of coffee and go alternative routes. Big tea drinker.
Oh, teas?
I like raspberry teas.
Oh, I like tea too.
Yeah, raspberry teas. Yeah, definitely is good flavor for tea.
We should do a tea episode.
A tea episode? No, what are we, British, dude? Get the fuck out of here. This is America, dude. What tea?
Just to switch it up.
You'd be surprised what
No,
what
I
different
know.
styles
I
of
know.
teas there are.
You know what I always think of? This is a weird memory for tea, but so I have a weird memory of Mariah Carey and tea because one night on like the New Year's Eve special, so she like fucked something up on on a Christmas special, like singing. So they're like, "All right, Mariah, we're gonna give you another chance. Like it's New Year's Eve. Like let's do it in Times Square." And I remember her being so pissed off, and the camera's like right on her, and she's like, "They want me to sing out here, and they ain't got me no hot tea. They want me to sing, and I got no hot tea. You know, I'm gonna do it for y'all anyway." And I never
That's
forget.
what you think of?
Remember that?
You remember? I'm not crazy,
Vaguely-
right?
no.
Yeah.
She's known for having freakouts on like live TV though.
Yeah, she's wild. Yeah,
I do remember.
Yeah,
that.
she's a diva.
yeah. And
You
you
know?
know what? That's why we appreciate her.
Yeah.
You know? Shout out Mariah.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
She got bombs too.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's beside the point. But yeah, I don't know. I like a good cup of
Is
tea.
it though when it
might
comes
be
to
the point.
celebrities?
Yeah.
Yeah, depends on the celebrity, I guess.
True. I did find the name of it. It's called Essalon Cafe.
Essalon,
dude.
hey.
Essalon was our first episode that we reviewed, and we actually got to visit back because Essalon is probably
good. That was
like,
the top tier of that. At least we said it in an episode in the past where that was probably one of the top coffees we've tried. And I think it was our second episode. Our first episode was Shelburne.
Yeah,
Falls.
first episode was Shelburne. Yeah, second episode was Essalon, and their food's great too. Yeah.
Never ate there. I just the old man that stands in the back grinding the coffee all day offered me a Joe one day while I was working. I took
word.
it. I'm like, this is delicious.
Nice.
Yeah, they got some good coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, something about thick and smooth going down I like more than anything else.
Kind of almost like a hot chocolate type of consistency. Like, because I find hot chocolate's a little bit thicker than coffee is. But when you get a coffee like that,
I think that's why I love milkshakes so much.
yeah,
Yep.
the consistency, nice.
Yep. My wife was making fun of me because I bought there's a Shadow Valley Farms chocolate milk. It's a place in Enfield or somewhere down in Connecticut.
Yeah.
But it's very thick, and I just bought chocolate ice cream, made some milkshakes, and she's just standing there laughing at me like you're such a child.
All right, so I would say consensus on this coffee,
It's solid.
solid.
Good
Cup of Joe.
Solid.
Probably could be an everyday drinker for most people.
I'm not a big dark roast or like bold coffee guy, but it's solid. I could, you said, or you hit the nail on the head. It could be a daily drinker,
Yeah, anytime I'm drinking a cup of coffee and I don't feel like I need cream because I'm a French vanilla creamer guy. Like that's,
Right.
Same.
Yeah, I take it with me and it's the way to go. But it's like the drinkability aspect of coffee, especially in a dark roast, is very important. Like to me, as far as making it a good cup of Joe. So yeah, very little to be desired. Highly recommend. So this is Vermont Coffee Company, their organic dark blend. And yeah, totally worth a try. Check it out.
I'm buzzing too,
River
though.
Valley Co-op. Oh, he's buzzing.
I'm buzzing.
He's buzzing.
Buzzing.
He's buzzing. You know what that means. It's bud time. He's
Oh.
buzzing. He's buzzing. All right.
The boys are buzzing.
You got a lighter? Anybody got a lighter?
I don't.
I got one. So, oh, look at that. The guest came prepared.
Johnny on the spot
look
with
at
the
that.
lighter.
Only thing I brought with
He's
me.
just like, dude, I just came here to smoke, guys. Fuck your podcast.
No, it just. Anytime I go anywhere, no one ever has a lighter, so I just always remember.
It is.
To be the
It
guy
is
with the
handy.
lighter.
You never know. What if you're stranded out in the wilderness? You'll have a lighter. You can start a fire like that. Like it's
Right.
fucking having a lighter. Even if you're not a smoker,
Yeah.
like carrying a lighter on you is probably a fucking smart thing to do.
Yeah.
You know. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking about it too much.
No,
but,
no, it definitely comes in handy. You don't,
Yeah, you don't need one until you need it. You know what I mean? And then
especially if you're getting into that health kick and you're like, I'm gonna go for a hike, and you make a wrong turn, and next thing you know, it's dark out and you hear
Yeah.
the wolves howling.
Yeah, shit.
All right, I'm gonna light this up. So this is in a blunt wrap, guys. So it's not something I've seen. Actually, I did see this. There was I actually purchased. I almost forgot about this. So just a quick blunt wrap story for pre-rolls at dispensaries. So I went to Liberty. I got myself this. I think it was like a Sammy Adams or like a Chris Webby type of. I think it was something like that, like some promotion with some
Like a celebrity endorsed.
yeah, some
weed.
like celebrity from 10 years ago is trying to get back into the weed game. They had something like this, and they had the fucking wrap like open at the end, and then it was like lightly glued to the bottom of the thing, so like it wouldn't fall out. Hard to explain, but basically like you could not get this thing out of the tube unless you had tweezers. And I like brought it back to them, and I'm like not a Karen. Like I'm just not.
Yeah,
like,
but-
dude, I just
yeah.
accept my circumstances.
So
at
it must
the
have
time.
been that fucking bad.
Yeah, I was
where
just
you,
like, guys, like I cannot. Like I need to exchange this. Like,
Right.
but yeah,
They swap it out for you?
they did. Yeah,
that's-
Liberty Cannabis, dude, one of the better dispensaries in the area, at least in East Hampton.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Springfield one's hit or miss.
Yeah.
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 But we're gonna light this one up, and this is from Dreamer Dispensary, and again, this is Ace Weidman's Wicked Fine Flour, and it's their cookies and cream number 9. All right.
Number 9. Number 9. Number 9.
I'm curious.
Number
How do you
9?
grow a cookie?
I don't know. Good question.
Ooh, that is a good question. If you were to grow a cookie,
You'd have to plant a chocolate chip into the soil
ooh, okay, all right.
and then put milk on top of it. And
What
it
if
will
I
grow.
want an oatmeal raisin?
You put a raisin in the soil,
But then you
and
would
throw
taste-
some oatmeal on it.
I feel. Oh, okay. All right. I was gonna say you would get some grapes, but the oatmeal is what changes it.
Yeah. Chemical reaction between the raisin and the oatmeal. I'll say oatmeal raisin cookies are fucking underrated. They slap.
Yes,
They slap.
oatmeal raisin. You know, you got to have them be thin. Like I don't like the thick batter oatmeal raisins that are chewy. I like the oatmeal raisins that have
A little
like
crunch?
Yeah, the crunch
A little
off.
crisp?
Yeah, the crisp. That's important.
The grandmas of the day, I feel like you have to be over 70 years old to make a good oatmeal raisin cookie. Although,
Yeah, I really don't like oatmeal raisin cookies.
oh really?
No.
Ah,
My sister-in-law makes this white chocolate, dark chocolate chip cookie. So good.
I think white chocolate anything's always good because I think a white chocolate is something that's like exotic because it's not like the typical chocolate choice. So you put white chocolate chips or white chocolate into something, and I'm automatically going to be intrigued because I'm going to be like, oh, that's different.
It
you know?
needs to have some type of like chocolate, like cocoa chocolate mixed in with it, though. I'm not a big fan of just pure white chocolate.
Right, not a purist. Yeah.
Although my only experience was the Hershey's cookies and cream chocolate bar when I was a kid. So
Oh, that was so solid.
My wife loves those.
I
That's
love
one
getting
of her
the
favorite
Easter
candies.
one. You get the Easter bunny one.
the cream one in the center.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh,
But that doesn't taste like the hard chocolate bar.
it doesn't. No.
No, it's definitely more of like a pudding consistency.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had that kind. So,
Oh yeah.
but yeah. No, I'm definitely looking at that. I've never actually seen like a pre-roll blunt before. Like pre-roll joints are like very common, you know, but like that's like the first time I've ever seen like a pre-roll blunt, you know. I mean, since I'm not partaking, like how does it taste in relation to like an actual like blunt wrap? Is it like a backwoods? Is it like a Dutch? Is it like
I'm gonna have to start paying attention because like I just have not smoked all day, and like all I could think about it is just like lighting that up and and inhaling. So let me try to do a review real quick.
Well, to me, I'm more I just smoke out of my bowl.
yeah, you pipe hitter,
I never learned how to roll.
right?
Joints or blunts?
This is like a 16-year ago story. One of the first times we smoked, sitting in Sean's bedroom.
Oh, my God.
Out his window, and
Was that the time his mom came up and?
Matt, his brother?
Oh, okay,
He
because I
came-
know we've gotten caught smoking in Sean's room on a couple different occasions.
Too many.
And we were really fucking young too.
Like 15, about that, around there.
Even
15,
even
16?
even like the first time we were probably even younger, maybe 14. We were probably like just before high school. I'm thinking.
Yeah, right around there, like somewhere leading
Yeah.
up to the freshman year.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, but
But yeah, no, you guys like sat there, and then like all through high school, you would try to teach me, and I could never grasp the concept.
it even took me a while because I remember Sean was like rolling a lot of stuff up for us because like I would just do such a dog shit job and like I would just be so discouraged.
And
Like
he was the first one to figure it out. But to get back to the point at hand, doesn't really have the heaviness to like a blunt wrap.
yeah,
Nice and smooth. It's more,
that's good.
More like a joint.
okay.
I'm getting that tingliness that you get from like
The
blunt, the
nicotine.
nicotine
Yeah, the
blunt on my
nicotine.
lips. I'm getting that kind
Yeah.
of like
I
sensation.
know exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah. and like the earthy aftertaste when you exhale, like almost like menthol. It has a bit of like a menthol like tinge, but it's definitely not dominant. But it does add actually a lot to the flavor of the bud, I think, because the bud is like a smooth, like I can feel the bud on my tongue, and it's like smoother, more like not a little bit of spicy to it as well. But I think that the blunt wrap really does give it this kind of smoother, more enjoyable, like sit and smoke.
Yeah.
You know?
From like my outside perspective right now, though, at least from like an aroma sense, since that's the only kind of part I'm enjoying about it, I feel like it's not as strong of like a weed aroma, obviously, because of the blunt wrap. Though I'm not like, it smells like weed, obviously, but it also smells like a cigar
you
too.
can definitely tell the difference between just weed burning, regular paper, blunt paper, and blunts definitely stick the hardest to you.
I think so. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I'm surprised that I'm not like coughing from it.
Yeah, it's very
like
smooth.
that's like. It's like really just adding the flavor, not the harshness.
Yeah, you're getting the best of of everything with it.
Legit, like I actually really enjoy this.
Not a harsh strain, good wrap, and it's not too tight.
How's it pairing with the coffee now?
Take a sip.
Yeah. I've been real big into that since we started the podcast. That's like one of the things I look for the most is like how does the weed and the coffee like go together?
We'll take the.
Oh
yeah, right there.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I'm like, but
yeah, no, that's always been interesting. That the coconut cream with whatever we smoked, that was fucking solid.
Yeah,
and then we've had a couple others, but that's like, you said you don't drink much coffee in the morning, unless it's given to you, right?
No, well, I mean, if it's offered, sometimes I'll take it.
You said you were like just a winter months kind of coffee, and when it's cold in the morning or something.
It's. If I'm in the mood for it,
Yeah.
Otherwise I'm just either grabbing a water, Gatorade,
Right?
Yeah,
soda. I'm trying to step away from soda too, just because I need to live a healthier life.
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure out how to gain weight.
Yeah, right. Drink more soda. That's what I thought.
I was just gonna say, don't quit drinking soda.
But no, the pairings in the morning, like I actually like have looked forward to them, but I've recently stopped smoking in the morning. Because like since I started the business with the removals, I'm working 2 jobs. Like I'm working.
You got no time.
Yeah,
to
like I've
sit
literally just been working every day. It
Yeah.
doesn't feel like it because when I'm working my job, it's like I feel like I'm actually like making what I'm worth. So it doesn't feel like that. But I can't do it in the morning anymore. So I've missed out on recent pairings like that I might have tried out. But it'll get back to it eventually.
The new business venture has been good though. You've been busy.
Oh, super busy.
That's
Shout
awesome.
out to anybody who's promoted me or reached out to give me business. Like
That's awesome.
I paid my rent last month with removals. So it's like, thank you. Like,
Yeah, dude.
So that means you're turning a profit already.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
I just got a trailer, all that shit. Like I'm fucking trying to make it happen.
Sounds like you're making it happen. It doesn't sound like you're trying. It sounds like you're fucking doing, bro. Like Yoda says, do or do not.
Exactly. Exactly.
You got that shit.
It's the dream
Good
for me one day.
Good for you.
So now that I'm starting to feel the onset of this, it's definitely body. Definitely strong body high. Feel it in the chest. Feel it behind the eyes. Don't feel so in my head. Very relaxed. Like it. I like it. So now that I'm feeling this, I wanted to ask you guys a question. And this was brought up to me. It's in some pockets of the internet. Apparently it's a really big debate right now. I wanted to see what you guys think. Because I think I know what side of this argument I'm on. And that would be, so in the world that we live in, right?
Planet Earth, in existence.
I live in a bubble.
Yeah. In existence, do you think there are more doors or wheels? Okay. So what are there more of? Are there more doors in the world? Or are there more wheels?
I flip-flopped on this fucking probably 4 or 5 times. And it was funny after I found out about this question, I actually got into a little debate about it with Nick Duza on Facebook. Because it was
did you really?
Barstool Sports shared it, and they had shared that exact statement.
Yeah.
And people underneath were arguing about it, and at first I said doors.
It's 100% wheels.
You went doors first?
I went doors
Okay.
first. Well, I'm thinking refrigerator doors, cabinet doors.
Yeah, no, those count.
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm saying. Car doors. You have four
Yeah.
wheels on your car. But you have four.
Now I don't know. See, refrigerator doors is tough. Like I feel like a door has to be something that you can pass through.
I can
also,
go through a fridge door.
well, yeah, fridge door, but cabinet door. Could you fit? Well, I guess you could fit in the.
I can.
I can fit.
Okay.
I can fit.
All right, we can count
cereal.
cabinet doors. That cabinet doors is kind of a game changer, though.
The proper name for it is cabinet door.
Okay.
No, and this is what I said, and I was actually wheels at first. Actually, I said I was doors. I was wheels first, and then I said doors, and then I actually flip flopped back to wheels.
Shit, you saying cabinet doors has me flipping on my,
Well,
my
that's
wheels
the
answer.
longer I thought about it, I kept thinking of like what else has doors.
Well, I started thinking like just school, like gym, the little cart things. You got
Well,
four
and that's
wheels
what- that's
on
the
both.
other
Right, yeah,
argument,
four
too,
wheels
is
on cars. I mean,
four
of
wheels-
course, also have four doors, but there's
Office-
2-door cars.
office
You got
chairs.
motorcycles.
office chairs though.
Well,
Like
a
you got
sem-
like
a
a
semi truck
semi's got
has.
18 wheels on it, 16 or whatever it is.
Let's just say it's a regular semi, so it has maybe 3 doors, 2 driver, passenger, and then 1 for the sleeper, and then the 2 swinging doors in the back. So
Right.
it outnumbers wheels to doors on that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, even the more I think about it, I'm still a little perplexed about it, but I have leaned toward the side of that there are more wheels. And then I think about it, it's like wheels, we think about like cars and whatever, like there's like a ton of countries in the world that like aren't America and don't have all these cars and trucks and stuff. Like if you go to certain like rural places in the world, like you know, in certain parts of the world where it's just not common to have cars, like you definitely have more doors.
I don't know. The places that really don't have cars really don't have doors on their huts either.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, the door is the passage. Is it at the actual door? Like, is it a doorway? Doesn't necessarily have to have a piece of wood in front of it to.
Yeah, door, like a door.
Okay.
Yeah, and door by name. You know, cabinet door. You know that's
Fridge door.
That counts. But wheels. When you think about toys, though, like
Oh yeah.
like Hot Wheels cars.
Well, they have doors too.
Do they have doors though? You can't
No.
open them. You cannot open Hot Wheel car doors.
I mean,
some
they're
die-cast
not,
ones.
They're not functional doors, but do we not acknowledge their existence?
I think they have to function.
You have to.
All right, now we're adding rules that aren't specified.
Well, no, it has to function because like I'm not going to count a wheel that is like I'm not going to fucking count the Wheel of Fortune. Well, maybe you count the Wheel of Fortune.
What about a steering wheel?
Yeah, I don't know if I could count a steering wheel.
What's in the name?
It is in the name. Okay, so it has to function though. It has to be able
Like,
to
see, this
rotate.
is why this is a fucking perplexing question, and it's very underrated. Like, when you first sent this to me, I hadn't seen anything about it on the internet. I was like, what the fuck? I mean, and it's a good question. I started thinking about it, and it was just, it happened to be a coincidence that, like, probably about 30 minutes later, I, was scrolling through Facebook, and I'd seen...
Nah, Facebook saw me text you that, and they were like, "Oh,
Oh,
we're gonna show you."
Yeah, the algorithm fucked me up. So I don't know. So I'm gonna go on, and I'm gonna go back to what I originally thought, and I am on the side of wheels. I just like to play devil's advocate, and I'm gonna keep arguing for doors, even though I know in my head that there's more wheels out there.
Well, first instinct for me said wheels, so I'm gonna stick with wheels. But the cabinet doors,
Fucks
fridge
you up,
doors,
right?
really makes you think.
Yeah.
You know, my original thing was wheels because I wanted to track it back to what came first, and I was like, "Fucking, well, so cavemen invented the wheel. They live in caves. They got no fucking doors on their caves. Like,
Yeah.
but maybe they did. I don't know. You can't really tell.
Could have
But
lived in California, had
was
some redwood bark.
I was gonna say they probably fashioned something to keep the cold out and to keep predators and scavengers away from their food. Like I'm sure the invention of the door and the invention of the wheel were probably very close to each other. I don't know which was invented first. I couldn't tell you. I wasn't there, but I don't think they're that far off. And the way I was looking at it was I was using the microcosm of my life, like in my house, in my like day to day, like what am I encountering more of, doors or wheels? And the answer was doors. So that was like how I did it. And then I was like, well, extrapolate that through the world, like maybe I don't know. That was
well, yeah, because when you're at home, like we're sitting at home, my place right now, and it's like I can't see any wheels. I just see doors.
Well,
Exactly.
So
being a dad of 3 boys at home, I have thousands on top of thousands. I have those huge buckets. I have the rope handles. I have 2 of those full of just Hot Wheels.
It's
my house, there's definitely more wheels than doors.
yeah. Nah, I can't.
more
Yeah,
things
good
to
point.
step on too. Yeah.
But I don't know, because Now you think like New York City, all the high rises and apartments and kitchen cabinets there, and
That's what I'm saying,
There's not, no
yo.
cars there.
That's what I don't know. It's a fucking tough question, but I still think it's wheels.
I'm changing my answer. I'm going doors.
You going to?
Oh.
The thought of sky rises and just kitchen cabinets, and then like schools and hospitals with all their storage rooms and doors. Definitely doors,
Right?
Yeah.
That's crazy to think about too.
But
that's on a larger scale. You got to think as many Hot Wheels as there are.
Well, and the world,
you
world
probably
is
have
a big
half
place.
the number of Hot Wheels to cover a hospital
Right.
doors. You know.
Yeah. But now, what about like recycled tires? Are those considered wheels still?
That's a good question. And I was thinking that too. Is it a
'Cause
wheel
function.
or is it right?
Because if they're not going to,
Form over function or function over form?
It's no, and I thought about that too. I was like, well, what about all the old rubber tires that are just sitting in rubber landfills right now and just stacked to the sky?
I'm just thinking driving the back road from like if you're at Hadley Target going back to Ludlow, you drive past the cow farm right there, and they just got a whole entire like sandbar of just tires.
Yeah, next to the cow farm. I know exactly what you're talking about.
That was literally I like popped into my head.
Yeah,
place.
no,
I'm
but that's
like,
a good point because there's a ton of places like that, and even like Tire Warehouse.
Yeah.
Like a Town Fair tire or something. It's just like fucking wheels everywhere.
Just the Goodyear Production Center.
Yeah.
right. But someone had brought up to me because I was having this discussion with some coworkers, and they were like, because they brought up.
Well, you never give your answer yet.
Oh, I'm a wheels guy.
You're a wheels guy.
I'm a
okay.
wheels guy. Yeah, because that was my initial gut feeling, and
I'm a wheels guy, but
it's like biased.
I respect the hell out of the doors guys because I was a doors guy for the first half of my knowing of this question.
Yeah.
I'm neutral.
You're neutral.
Yeah, I'm
You're a Windows guy.
Yeah.
I wonder. There's got to be
like to lick
somebody.
them.
There's
My
got to be
favorite
somebody
color's clear.
smart enough out there to come up with something to be able to definitively prove who was right.
Well, I mean, Google Street Maps literally has a photo of everything. They probably already have the analytical data to prove it.
I don't know. They're gonna get some sort of AI to start crunching all the fucking numbers.
Yeah, someone had said to me too, like in New York with the sky rises and all the doors and stuff, a lot of those people don't drive either.
No,
so they don't even have cars.
In a city like New York, there is way more doors than
Right.
wheels.
Okay.
I'd agree. But that's one city in the whole wide world.
So like, let's extrapolate. So if you said that, that's one city, and you've got multiple cities, and you could say all the biggest cities,
Tokyo,
definitely
Mexico,
have more doors. What's this?
Mexico definitely has more wheels than doors.
Mexico City is huge.
Yeah, but I'd definitely say they have more wheels than doors.
Yes, because there's a lot of rural parts, and there's probably a lot more like fucking wagons and fucking whatever going on. I don't know.
You know why I think, honestly, I'm a wheels guy. Now that I'm thinking about it and some of the things you guys have brought to the table, it's like, so when we're thinking of doors, like doors are always going to be a certain size. Like, and I feel like wheels can be tiny. They can be small.
Like you said, Hot Wheels cars.
So it's
or whatever.
like you can basically like surmise that like because doors take up so much more space than wheels do, there could be more wheels.
Well, what about like a dollhouse with the doors or like?
Oh shit!
That's what I mean. Like we can like
We can
dig.
even go
We can
back to the model cars.
Yeah, and some of those doors are functional. But like you said, you can't go through them. But like, it's a door.
It is a door. As long as it opens and closes, it's a door.
Okay, I think we've debated this long enough.
Yeah.
You know what?
that
though?
was
This could go on forever.
it really could. That's a good.
It's a good topic, and
Yeah.
I think it's a question that needs answering.
It's definitely a 21st century chicken, egg, which came first.
Yeah,
debate.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think in the comments.
yeah. I want to know too.
Doors or wheels?
Doors or wheels?
I'm wheels.
Wheels.
It's gonna be a federal court case. Doors versus wheels.
Does the band The Doors count?
Shit.
Oh, not function or
Form over function?
form over function. Yeah. Shit. All right.
3 doors down.
Well, with that nonsense out of the way, just curious what you guys would think. It says a lot about you.
They were
Whatever.
awful in
Team doors.
But I want to move on to the next topic of consciousness of today, which is fatherhood. And, I just felt like this is a good topic. Like I said earlier, I think we all have a lot to bring to the table from different perspectives. And I invited you on, Garrett, because I wanted to talk about this particular topic with you because of my previous perception of you in high school.
The class clown?
Kind of, yeah.
The asshole.
Well, in a way, like you had certain attributes that like I was like, okay, I kind of, and through social media, which is like kind of a small, brief window.
Oh, anything I share on social media is literally just to get people going.
Yeah, well,
I think I even commented. You said something.
I'm easy though. I'm easy.
I actually saw more like. I'm all about like I root for people from afar, so it's like
I do too. I want
when I see like
everyone.
Like your kid's birthday or like you're doing some stuff with your family, like those are shared values of mine. So it's like I totally support that. And so like,
well, thank you.
Yeah, to me from afar, like I kind of have observed you build this life. You're married, you have your children, like you work hard, like you're just like you've transformed in a way, and I feel like. Fatherhood like is something that maybe has done that for you, but it's like the perception that I had of you in high school and then how you just transformed. I just have a lot of respect for you, and from afar, like I don't really, I know we haven't spoken in a long time, but that's why I kind of want to have you on and get your perspective on everything, and because of your situation too, so, so what do you think, as far as the change in you and the change from high school, do you feel like, over your life that fatherhood, has changed you maybe the most, or do you feel like it's, how has it been for you?
Fatherhood has taught me responsibility, and like, I can't put myself first, or like if I have at my job, like if they're pissing me off, I can't just be like, I quit. I gotta tough it out, stick it out. But I mean, it's taught me empathy and to have patience and to think about things first before acting on them, which I don't always know how to do. But as far as like transition from high school into fatherhood, a lot of that I owe it to my in-laws for taking me in, because I had a troubled youth. I mean, a lot of stuff people knew about, a lot of it kept in the closet, so I never really had a good guide onto being a father. I'm still confused as hell as now what to do, and my oldest is 10, and I'm like, I'll figure it out one of these days. But it's just, being a father is really hard to put into words. I'm sure you understand that.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is. And I get what you're saying about the empathy and responsibility and
yeah, you got little U's counting on you.
Yeah. It's one of those things where once the switch flips, you kind of like even learn to love yourself a little bit more.
That I'm just starting to realize now.
Yeah.
That like the learning self-worth, I'm figuring that stuff out now. So
yeah, because it's like how much you mean to them. It's like it's almost like it's like, whoa, like I am that. Yeah. I am that important, and like what are your children's name?
My oldest, who's 10, is Xavier, and then the twins are Thomas and Tanner, or Tommy and Tanner, and they're 4, almost 5.
Nice, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I got a son, Vincent. He just turned 5. Yeah, for fatherhood for me was definitely like a big self-worth thing, because I realized that I couldn't really love my child. Like I couldn't say I love my child as much as I do if like I wasn't loving myself and making decisions that were like in my like best interest.
Or his best interest.
Right, because it would be like, okay, it translates.
So they're not mutually exclusive. They're not mutually exclusive from each other, right? You know what I mean? In theory,
right.
You can't if you have no love for yourself, or you don't have, how can you give it to somebody else?
Exactly.
Kind of.
You're only as good to them as you are to yourself. So
right.
If you treat yourself like shit, you're only going to treat them like shit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is something I'm starting to work out with myself. I growing up had a piece of shit father, so I'd just starting to come to terms with that, and it's just through talking to one of my coworkers who was dealing with his own issues, and it made me realize, like, holy shit, I actually have a lot of stuff I gotta figure out and help me be a better me. Do
you think that if I ask you anything that you don't want to answer,
dude, I'm an open
book. Cool. Do you think that your trauma, in a way, right, especially if it involved like a male influence, do you think that is kind of like motivation for you to be present and be a better version, like, be the father that you almost basically wanted?
100%. And I mean, The issue with that is I tend to go overboard with just randomly coming home with things and going, hey, look what I bought for you today. Because it's just like I want them to have that feeling of happiness. And with my oldest, I started to realize, like, I can't just keep giving you things because he's starting to literally turn into a version of me that I once knew. And
is you.
He's me when it comes to humor, but when it comes to compassion, he's my wife. So it's like the best of both worlds. And then with the twins, I have a carbon copy of me, which is Tommy, but he looks like my wife. And then Tanner, who looks exactly like me, acts just like my wife, so he's just independent, quiet. And then Tommy's over there, like, peeking around the corner. And like, well, okay, let me just let me turn the stove on. Let me do this. And it's like, no, come here.
Yeah.
He's going to be the one that I'm getting the phone call about.
Yeah.
But love them all the same.
Yeah. Well, that's good that you, like, you know, like, that's part of, I think, like, reconciling with the trauma is, like, using that as motivation, turning all of that into, like, love for your children somehow. Because, like, there's a part of me too that, like, because I didn't meet my dad till I was 16. Now, granted, I have a wonderful relationship with him now.
That's
like,
good.
Yeah, I'm very blessed for that to have, like, worked out. But it's like, to me, because I didn't really grow up with him, there's no way I'm going anywhere for my son. You know, so it's this sense of, it's like breaking a generational chain.
I was just gonna say,
yeah,
that's
like
the saying.
It's like
breaking
understanding,
generational.
like, dude, like, okay, so like, if you can identify what it is, you know, that was really bothering you or something that you needed as a youth, and it's like now you can provide that so that it never has to happen again. You know, that's like a privilege of being a father almost. That's what I feel like. Yeah.
I mean, I don't have kids or anything, but I know for me, like, I
Will
thought
you ever?
I have the best. I feel like I had the best dad ever growing up. Like, you know, and in a lot of ways that intimidates me when I have kids. It's like I don't know. Like, it puts a lot of pressure on me to like be that same kind of positive influence and role model, and that I was so lucky to have that. Like, can I live up to that? Is kind of like the fear is that, like, I won't be as good as my father was.
You will be, though, because
do you know what I mean?
You had the role model, and it's in you. Becoming a father, you can't explain how it changes you,
right?
But it changes you.
Well, it gives me hope too, because I mean, my brother is a father of, he's got 2 young kids, and
kids,
and I see how he is with his kids, and like the transformation in him, and like it makes me proud of, like, to see how he is and like how good of a father he's become.
He's become soft a little bit.
Yeah, that's what it is, and it's softened him, and it's given, like, it's shown me like a different side of him that I never had growing up, because he had that kind of like rough exterior, quiet, like
big brother.
Now exactly, you know, beat me up or whatever. But now it's like
beat you up. He beat us all up.
Yeah. But now when I see him playing with his kids and seeing that side of him, like it is, you know, it's really cool, and it's cool to see people like you evolve into that role and like fulfill it. You know what I mean? And it's shout out to you guys, you know what I mean? Because it's not, you know what I mean?
No, it's not easy.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not, and it's a lot of sacrifices. Like you guys said, it's like you're not putting yourself first anymore. And like as greedy as, like, I don't want to sound selfish or whatever, but like that's like one of the most terrifying things for me is like I want to be a father someday. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's like, will I ever be ready? Will I make that important step into taking myself out of the equation, or not necessarily taking myself out of the equation, but not making myself a priority, you know what I mean, and putting another human life in front of me, or it's a big change, you know what I mean?
Just want to say, I actually really appreciate your perspective there, like of the fear of maybe not living up to like your father's, you know, the image you have of your father.
Right.
I think that pursuit of that will get you there. You know, like once you become a parent, like you will draw on that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you'll be a great father one day. You know, just
thanks,
that's
thanks.
the kind of the point I'm getting at. But no, I do appreciate that perspective. And so also too, it's got to be a little bit different with a partner, because like with being like in a really committed relationship, I think you already have experienced that sense of sacrifice and compromise. Like you can already put somebody else ahead of you because you like have that love.
Sure.
And so like that actually partly prepares you, I think, for the child.
Yeah. I'll say this. I'm very confident in the fact that like if me and my wife decided to have kids and we have kids, like I know that she will be a fantastic mother. Like I wouldn't have chosen to marry her if I didn't like see those potential qualities in her, and like, you know what I mean? She comes from good stock. Her parents are amazing people, and like I can tell that they've given her and her brother like all the love and support that they've ever needed, and like and I have not doubted for a second that like she would raise our children to be good people.
Same
you know what I
qualities
mean?
saw in my wife.
Exactly.
I met her when I was 18. So I can't.
Yeah, has that been like the case for you? Did like the relationship prepare you for fatherhood at all, or?
Well, I became a dad. Well, she became pregnant when I was 21,
Mm-hmm.
and I was 22 when he was born. But I was not ready to be a dad at all, by any means. I made every single mistake you could make in a relationship. I learned from my mistakes, and I have someone that wanted to work it out, and we've been good now. And but yeah, no, I was not prepared at all to be a dad. I was one of those, oh shit, really? And the twins, we talked about having another one because he wanted to be a brother. So we're like, all right, we're in a position where we can add another kid to the mix, and got to buy one, get one, and did the same exact thing. I was like, son of a bitch, another one. So yeah, no, I was not prepared for either of the pregnancies because it was a surprise somewhere within both of them.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't change it for anything in the world nowadays.
That's awesome. That's amazing to hear, because it's awesome and it's developed into something that, defines you, it's, and that's okay. I think like having an identity as a father is something, very special. It's probably, it's different than the identity of husband,
Yeah.
because you're in this mentor role. And one of my favorite things actually about becoming a father was the simple things became so interesting again.
Building Legos.
I
love Legos.
Yeah. Like me and Vincent, we'd go on a hike and he'd like pick up a leaf and he'd be like, show me the leaf. And I'd be like, oh, that leaf is fucking awesome. Like,
yeah, but
it's crazy.
It allows you to be a kid again sometimes.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I can see that.
Especially having boys, it definitely allows you to be a kid and live kind of vicariously through them.
Yeah.
And that's why we own so many Hot Wheels now.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I like this one.
It's like reclaiming your innocence. Like in a way, like that type of bond has like allowed me to forgive myself for like past mistakes. Like in my 20s when I was fucking around, like things that I did wrong, like people that I wronged, I realized that like by becoming a father and like assuming that identity, it like gave me almost like a second chance to be like, okay, like I can do things right now. That's like that renewed innocence type of thing. I mean, and it was, it's fucking awesome. Like, I don't know. I feel like I was definitely made to be a fucking father. Like, I've always like looked forward to it. I'm sure a lot of people do. I just, always knew that like I could be the fucking best dad.
Yeah, I'm working on being a better dad, and it's in my 20s I was learning to just learn life basically with guidance from my in-laws. Yeah, and they basically when I left Ludlow, I went to like 4 different high schools, ended up dropping out.
Word.
They forced me. Well, not really forced me. They gave me a gift on Christmas. That was a certificate for my GED, so they kind of pushed me to go get that, helped me get my driver's license back, all that stuff. So I was getting showed the guidance in my 20s that I should have got in my childhood.
Right.
So through my mistakes, I was screwing up with my girlfriend, then fiance, and then wife, and I learned from all those. And then my in-laws just sat me down one more time, and they're like, listen, what do you want? And basically I had a heart-to-heart with them, and after that, it's been 7 years now, I think, and everything's been better. I was able to buy a house.
Yeah.
And just keep upgrading life, basically.
Yeah, it's like it's interesting too when you get to stop and kind of look back at it and just see like how responsible you've become, you know, and it's
Well,
like, whoa, like you never would have thought, right? Like,
well, I was basically trying to learn how to be an adult myself while trying to figure out how to be a father at the same time, and it's still something I'm trying to figure out to this day.
yeah,
Like the unfortunately, I got the gene from my father of having a short fuse, so that's something I'm really highly trying to work on. But it's especially with Xavier, he's like me, so he pushes buttons and pushes, and you know, I'll be like, hey, can you please do this? And then you know you got to drop the please, put the stern voice in, and the next thing you know, you're yelling at him and threatening to ground him. And then he's like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. And I'm just like, well, why did I have to get to that point? Why can't you just do it on the, hey, can you please do this?
yeah.
Like brush your teeth.
So Vincent does something recently. This is one of the most annoying things that my kid currently does. Mm-hmm. He'll ask me a question, right? Like he'll be like, why does the toilet flush? You know, I'll tell him the answer of why. Like I'll like explain to him like how it works.
Yep.
And he'll look at me and be like, no, that's not right. I'll be like, dude, I just fucking told you that I gave you the facts. You asked me a question. I gave you the fucking facts, kid. Like, now obviously I don't curse it, you know, at my son, but in my mind, I'm like, what?
What if you showed him? What if
the audacity?
What if you showed him the practical application and you just disconnected the toilet and then made him shit in it until it was just filled to the brim?
Well, yeah. Go ahead, do that.
No,
then call me so I can make some money.
Call the plumber. Yeah.
No, that was a joke, but that'd be funny.
I've seen it.
Picture a mountain of poop inside of a toilet right now.
Yeah.
Dude, do you want to see one? Because I got them on my phone.
No.
I got plenty of them.
Shit.
But yeah, no. Tommy, one of the twins, he does that, and for a almost 5-year-old, you have to break it down to their terms. So you'll explain it in exact detail to them, and then you're like, no, that's exactly how it is, and it's just he knows exactly whatever the answer is, but you're not explaining it to him how he wants to hear it. So until you get the answer the way he wants to hear it, you're wrong. At least with mine. That's how it works with Tommy. And
it is. You got to break it down. Simplest terms.
Yep. And then I have a 4-year-old who's teaching himself multiplication and division right now. So that's like the next Elon Musk, I hope.
Oh, geez, yeah. That's
launching rockets to Mars and stuff. So you should have a kid.
Yeah,
What was the question you asked earlier?
Well, I was gonna say while you guys were smoking, I was gonna say, do you think there'll ever be a time where you'll smoke weed with your kids? Obviously, in the way distant future, but like I had that kind of relationship with my father where like once I got to like that certain age and like he knew and I knew and it was just like it just had happened, and then for a while like we were like pretty good smoking buddies, like you know what I mean, until he kind of started winding down a little bit, and then and I'll say this is like I've learned more about my dad through the times when we were sitting there smoking a joint on the back picnic table or on the porch or something. That's when the real stories would come out, and the unedited version of my father. I've learned more about him and kind of what shaped his life through those pure moments of like just being stoned together and like, you know what I mean? And stories, always just when I think I've heard like every crazy story, like
there's always another one.
We'd burn one up and it would be, endless. And I always said like he could have wrote a fucking book about all the crazy shit and escapades he's been through. So that's why I kind of like just posed the question, because like I don't know. I wonder if you guys ever thought about that, or like what your thoughts on it were.
Well, I said I would let you answer first, but I'll go. My mom for years has tried to get me to smoke with her, and I always just saw it as like a disrespectful thing because of how taboo it was growing up and how she hid it from me for so long, and like, oh, it's so bad. And then when she found out I smoked, she was like, oh, well, you should smoke with me. And I'm just like, no, you go, it's taboo, it's bad. And so I was always like, it's a sign of disrespect.
Yeah.
I'm kind of following the same path as like, I'll be in my garage, which is detached from my house.
Right.
And my son will come outside, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, shit. Hey, buddy, what's up?
That's what my dad used to do before I was like, I always kind of knew he was probably smoking weed, but like before I could really put two and two together, he used to go behind the shed out in the backyard. That was his thing.
Yep.
He'd come, he'd be real.
So you knew the routine, but you didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah. And I mean, no, I probably kind of did, but like, I was still a little naive about it or like whatever. And I never really was like ashamed of it or anything or like thought was like embarrassed about it, because like we never like really. It never came to the point where we thought it was like a taboo thing in our house. It was just kind of like an unspoken thing. You know what I mean? Like we didn't like
that, and
we didn't judge other people or like say like, you know what I mean? If there was someone smoking on TV like weed or like we weren't. It wasn't like my father was like, oh, don't be like that guy. Like he would just, you know what I mean? So there was no animosity or like weird feelings about it. It was just something that like he did and like didn't really advertise it, but like.
Just kind of found out randomly one day.
I was able to put two and two together and kind of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I was like, I want to say 16. I left my bong out on my dresser on purpose, so my mom found it because I was just sick of like trying to like sneak through the house and all that other stuff. And then from that day forward, she's like, "Hey, you want to sit down?" I'm like, "No," and I don't know. I mean, I want to keep it hidden from him as long as possible.
Sure.
I mean, He knows what it is. We don't hide what it is from him.
Yeah, and I mean, like, well, we got to think about it too. Like the weed in the world your kids are growing up in is much different than weed in the world that we grew up in. Like it was literally perception. Yeah, it was literally illegal. You had a joint. You would go to jail. Like now, we have a weed podcast and we buy weed legally at the stores. Like, so it's not like your kids aren't gonna go to school and like hear the scare tactics that they tried to
smokes pot.
Right. It's gonna be more socially acceptable, which is why I kind of like brought up the question. But I was also just kind of trying to parallel it to my past experiences with my father, and I mean, with my mother, I think I smoked weed with my mom once at a Tom Petty concert. I went with my friends, and then I ran into my mom with my dad and her sisters and my aunt. Like my aunts they were there in the lawn and like just randomly ran across them, and my mom had a joint in her hand, and she tried hiding it, and I said, "Hey, Mom, what do you got there?" You know what I mean? And it was and I made her pass it to me, and that was the only time me and my mom like smoked together, but so it was a little different relationship when it came to that, but
yeah, I think like with Vincent. It's really hard for me to imagine that because like
he's so young still.
Yeah, I just like I have such this pure,
too innocent.
Yeah, so pure. Yeah, and it's like to me like I don't want to shelter him or shield him from the realities of the world and the world that I live in and the way that I behave. Like it's I don't want to lie to him. Or get in a situation where I might feel like I have to.
Sure.
So it's like up to me to be responsible about it around him. Mm-hmm. So I would say, when he's like of the appropriate age, like I would probably set that, like, you know what I mean? Like, because if he's going to do it, he's going to do it. You know what I mean? Like he's just, like we did, right. You know what I mean? Oh, 4 buddies after school. Let's go fucking grab a Dutch. Everybody's got $5. All right, cool. Let's roll up a blunt. Like that's what kids do. Yeah. That's what they do.
Right.
And so like,
I was that one friend that always tagged along.
Yeah. You were the Snoop of the group.
I was. Everyone felt bad for me. They knew.
No, yeah. But yeah, so for me, it's like, I'll probably like set that bar. Like, all right. Yeah. Hey, like, because then he'll probably want to smoke with me by the time he's 21. And I can appreciate like what you're saying too. Like I smoked with my biological dad, like maybe a handful of times. And it was just like goofy and fun, because we just fucking would laugh we'd watch Tommy Boy or something, I'd just like laugh at a movie. Like, I don't know. My dad is pretty, I would say put together as though like people who smoke aren't, like that's not the case.
More like straight edge though. Like
yeah, his life's different now.
Right.
So he is acting appropriately.
Sure.
And
he's growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as Vincent goes, like, I guess I would be curious too. Like I would definitely find his shit and probably like just take it. Like I would just take his shit. Like, like, nah, cool. Nah, bro. Like, Why, Dad? Do you do it? Like, I'd be
I
like,
learned
yeah,
it from watching you.
but I'm the appropriate age, son. Like, oh, you always say that, Dad. God damn it, give me $20. Like,
my oldest Xavier, he does that with us, like swearing at home. He'd be like, "Why do you get to say that?" It's like, "Cause I'm an adult. I can do that. You can't say that."
I've earned the right.
you know, actually, interesting conversation I just had with Vincent, 5-year-old kid, but it's like how much he's probably retaining some of this with music. With when they have swears in the music, I just made a declaration. I was like, all right, listen, swear words in music, okay. Swear words when you're talking to somebody or expressing yourself in anger or something, not okay.
What if he just learns to like freestyle rap and diss his teachers and say,
Yeah.
"Fucking bitch"?
Yeah,
That would be hilarious.
I would, then you gotta just put them in the studio. You
Yeah.
embrace their talents. But no, I told because it's like I was like, listen, in art,
Right.
anything goes. Like it's expression.
I was gonna
like,
say,
like
it's
I was like,
different.
and I'm trying to like. He's 5 years old, dude. You know what I mean? It sounds crazy for me to try to express those ideas to him, but it's just like it's
they get
reiteration. Like the more we have that
Yeah.
conversation, the more it'll stick.
Yeah,
and,
you reinforce it.
but like that's like a declaration. I originally, I was like, all right, because he likes that Kid Leroy Justin
Yeah.
Bieber song. He likes saying,
Yeah.
I'll be fucked up. He likes
Yeah,
saying-
yeah. Yeah, and
And it's kind of cute to hear a 5-year-old say it's that. I don't know.
yeah. Honestly, like when my nephew, my oldest nephew, he's gonna be in high school next year, which is crazy. But when he was a kid and I used to babysit him, or he was around, and like right around that age, like 3-4 years old, and when they're really like,
You would try to get him to curse, wouldn't you?
no, he would do it on his own, but like I couldn't not laugh at it. I thought it was the cutest, funniest thing ever. I couldn't like be like serious and be like, "Oh no, you can't say that." I would just be laughing and just reinforcing that like. So I don't know. I'm with you. There's something cute and funny about kids cussing, like, and obviously, like, it's horrific for parents sometimes because they're scared, like, oh my god, like, where does the line get drawn?
Right.
And you don't want this to be like a habitual thing where, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of that weird thing. But as an uncle, I didn't feel any like responsibility to like curb it. You know what I mean?
so-
I wouldn't encourage it, but like I would laugh and I would, which I guess is a form of encouraging it. But
I will say I can't wait to be an uncle so I can encourage bad behavior.
it's honestly, I'm not saying
It
like
is an uncle's duty, actually. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I've enjoyed being an uncle. Like, my sister's kids, my brother's kids. It is one of the best things, and you kind of get all the fun with none of like the bad stuff.
Responsibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can say like
give 'em
it's-
back.
Yeah, you give them back. Like not saying I haven't been like I've babysat for them. I've been responsible for them, but like you said, it's a temporary thing. I only have to be good for another 24 hours with you, and I can give you back to your mom,
Right.
and we can laugh about you saying the F-bomb and eating all the candy you want or whatever, and playing video games like violent video game, whatever. You know what I mean? So like, I don't have to worry about that burden. So. There is something special about that uncle, nephew, or niece relationship where, like, you don't have to be 100% the good adult.
Yeah, if you're an uncle, you're supposed to encourage bad behavior, and if you're the male cousin, you're supposed to be the bully.
Right.
I think that's like just how families work. At least in my family dynamics, that's how it
Yeah,
works.
yeah.
The hidden stresses of being a father and not being able to talk those stresses to anybody sometimes sucks.
Word. Elaborate a little.
Well, it's like you're having a bad day or something. Like for me, like my job's commission based, so if my paycheck's lower than what I thought it was gonna be, it's like damn
The
it.
inconsistency.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or just like stressing about money and being everything's gonna be okay, and not being able to show your stress.
Just kind of keeping that brave front and kind of,
You're being the
that's-
super glue to hold the household
Yeah.
together.
The weight of that burden, kind of, but the weight of the responsibility. That's
That's
a good point,
Or
man.
just like
there's no like that's the thing. That's like the stressful thing about fatherhood, at least from the outside when I'm looking at like how my father was or you guys are with your kids. It's like when you're a dad, like there's no days off.
True.
There's no days off. Like you might be a day off of your job because you have like a holiday, but like
I got a dope ass wife, and I do
Okay.
get days off.
all right,
That's
well,
cool.
And nights off. Like when I go home tonight, she'll be like, I'll put the kids to bed. Go ahead, play video games if you want.
That's dope.
It's
That's what's
reverse
up.
psychology because I'm gonna be like, no, I was just out. I'll take you go relax.
yeah.
He's already got that planned out. He knows,
Yeah.
he knows how he's going to play that shit.
Same game, same outcome.
That's a good point.
Or just stress in general. As a male, you don't really have outlets to talk about it.
You don't. I mean, I get nervous. I try to be aware of the transference of stress towards my child, you know? Like, because I have identified a couple of times where I've lost my patience, and it wasn't really directly related to what he was doing.
No, it's just your daily
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, you're-
and
And
life.
those are like
you're
the moments I feel
deflecting,
the
yeah.
worst about. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, damn, like, all right.
Yeah, but you're human. You know what I mean? It's
and I acknowledge that shit, but like, it's
yeah, I don't think it's something you should beat yourself
Yeah.
up over because
but the outlets for that type of stress, I mean, that stress of knowing that, you know, there's no days off in the sense of, you know, the paycheck. You got to get the paycheck. You got to make sure you're providing. You got to make sure like you are continuing to accelerate this person's position. And it's probably one of the things that motivated me to start my business is just like being able to like teach him the importance of it in one sense. Like, actually, this is a really cool story. Teaching moment with me and my son. So I've been doing the removals.
Yep.
And I was kind of in a situation where I'm just trying to do as much business as possible. So even on days like he has to go to school in the morning, or like I have work at my other job, like I've been scheduling removals at like 8 in the morning, you know, like 7:30 in the morning.
Damn, that's
squeezing
early.
it in
Yeah.
between.
And so recently, this all tie in. Recently, we bought the Lego Star Wars game. I only had one PlayStation controller, and he's like, "Well, Dad, yeah, like I want to play with you. Like, can we get another controller?" And I was like, "We can, but we need money." And he was like, "Well, how do we get money?" And I was like, "We got to work." And I was like, "Do you want to go to work with me tomorrow?" Because I had to take him anyway.
yeah.
It just like worked out. I was like, "Do you want to go with me?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, all right, so what we're going to do is we're going to get a chair and we're going to take it out of somebody's house and we're going to bring it to the storage unit. And he's like, okay. And I was like, what I want you to do is if you wake up before Daddy, you wake me up. If I wake up before you, I'll wake you up. And he's like, okay.
Teamwork.
So he's up at like 6:30 in the morning. Like, you know,
Kids
like
are ruthless.
he's like, but he knew. Like I usually wake up before him.
Right.
Like I was banking on waking up before
He
him.
was the responsible one.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
morning?
He was up.
When children are excited, they have an internal alarm clock that
Yeah.
for
Just
sun
knew.
rises and they rise with the
It's like
sunrise.
waking up on Christmas,
Like Christmas,
morning.
yep.
I was just,
yeah, just like that feeling. So he knew, like, okay, we got to go do something today so we can get a controller. So we get up, we get dressed. He's real good about it. We go to this person's house in Hatfield, and it's these like two elderly people. And I was like, all right, listen, we're gonna go into somebody's house. You don't touch anything. You stay with me. We got to do work. And I was like, why do we have to do work? So we could, and he's like, so we could get money. And I was like, what are we gonna do with the money? And he's like, get a controller. And I was like, yes, like
that-
he's
yeah.
like, he
In it.
got it, you know. And so like, you know, he basically
That's awesome.
watched me remove it, and like we put it in the truck, brought it to the storage unit. Then I showed him the money that the people gave me,
Right.
and I was like, you know, what are we gonna do with this? He's like, we're gonna go get a controller. So you know, he went to school, and when he came home, you know, I had gotten him another PlayStation controller, and that night we were playing Lego Star Wars together, and that was like I tell that story, I'm so like proud of that because it was just a concrete teaching moment.
right.
And like I felt so much closer and connected to my son by the end of it. Like it was a teaching moment for me.
Right.
You know, like
No,
all right,
that's awesome.
You know,
that's
and-
a really good story,
dude,
man.
it was amazing. And like yeah, so we just actually been grinding fucking Lego Star Wars the last week. It's all he wants to play.
That just sounds like a good time.
Yeah, but he gets it, you know, and
Yeah.
it's like things like that are really like, that's one of the things that I feel like makes fatherhood worth it, is like when you get to connect with this child and that is like part of you, you know. It's like the newer version of your youth, like yeah.
Yep. Well, I have that with Xavier through baseball, and then he's already excited for this spring. He's already talking about getting a new glove and a bat and all this other stuff.
Nice.
I'm just like, All right, so can I get some more hours, please?
Yeah.
But that's awesome, man. You work hard for your children, man. It's awesome, and you share that love, man. That's your right.
Yeah,
Share that love.
It's hard. Trying to divide myself amongst 3.
Yeah,
That's
that's wild. Yeah, like
especially because they're 5 years apart, so it's like
Their
Xavier
needs are different.
You know,
Yeah.
Xavier like, hey Dad, can we go to round 1 at the mall? And the twins, it's like I just gotta, hey, you want to play with these action figures?
right.
It's like
It's a simpler,
they're still satisfied by the simplistic things in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And Xavier's like, I want to go ride go-karts.
Yeah.
Let's go do this. And it's like, "Jeez, bud."
Oh shit.
But I mean, he likes building puzzles too. So
Yeah.
it's wild what they find interesting at certain times, especially as they age and grow. And he's now starting to hit puberty, so he's all excited about his mustache. That he's getting. You're still trying to get one. Kid's gonna grow a beard before I can.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Kids are the best. Kids are wild.
But no, honestly, conclusion though, like fatherhood is fucking dope. It's obviously
It's got its ups and downs.
it's got its ups and
It's got
downs.
more ups than downs, though.
Yeah, it really does. It's dope.
Someday I'll have a kid and we'll come back and we'll do another father episode.
Yeah, I'm down.
You want to borrow one?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna be the uncle this time.
I
So-
don't know, because I'm sometimes the uncle to my kids too, and I encourage the bad behavior.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Bringing in snowballs from outside and go throw them at your mom.
Oh my god, can't wait for those days. But
Yeah, I'm an antagonizer.
yeah,
I haven't changed
Gotta be
much.
some-
I'm still the same.
Yeah. No, you just
I just learned how to be mature when I need to be.
I think there's something important about that though, is keeping your own, like being all stringent and responsible 100% of the time. Like you got to give yourself, I think, a little bit of leeway to let your hair down and be that kid that you were, and to connect with your kid too. It can't all just be.
well, you can't be wrapped up in the identity so much that you lose your own.
Right.
Like one thing that I could say, like being a single parent, it's like because I get Vincent every other week and I share him, it's like I have my own life also that like
It's like an alter ego.
Yeah, not that like you guys
You
you guys both have wives and like like a house, and like you guys like have a life that I'm still like working towards. And so it's like, but like I could have easily lost myself in like I'm only a father.
Right.
But having the dichotomy of like him going back and forth allows me to like still be Josh Reno and not just like
Dad.
Vincent's dad. Yeah.
No,
I get that.
Yeah.
There's definitely some importance to that for sure. I've like I said, I think it's trying to find a balance and
Well, it keeps me it keeps me happy. Like
Yeah.
in a sense, like I mean, I really do wish Vincent was here every day. I
course
really
you
do.
do.
Like
Of course.
I would make that work, and
but like I'm sure
yeah.
even if you had your son every day, like you would still find those times to be Josh Reno.
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? You would just maybe you'd have to work harder to find, you know what I mean, to create that time for yourself, but as long as you have the desire to keep that, you would find a way, you know what I mean?
Word.
Or from the opposite end of it, you'll start realizing that he's turned into a little mini you, and you're like, damn, is that what I'm really like?
That's probably likely to happen. But I'll be like, no, that's not me. That's his mother. That's his mother. It's just-
Yeah, and so you start seeing the way they act things, and you're like, wait, that's exactly how I would do that.
Yeah.
Damn, so this is what it's like. My mom wished
What's
it
that
on me.
expression? The apple in the tree doesn't fall that far.
Dude, I actually have concrete evidence of that because I didn't meet my dad till I was 16. When we first started hanging out, like we would go to the Toasted Owl in Northampton. We'd get like pizza, wings, appetizers, a bunch of appetizers. And we'd just talk and we'd like hang out, and my brother Daniel would be there, and we'd start laughing. Like him and I had the same laugh.
Yeah.
Like
that's
our
genetic.
Yeah.
mannerisms were like the same. And I was like, dude, I've never been around. I thought mannerisms were like an
learned thing.
learned thing. Like, you emulate people that you see. So it's
Yeah.
like, but I was just like, what? Like, this is so weird, dude. You're just like me. Like, or I'm just like you. So that's just crazy.
All right. Are you like your parents, or are your parents like you?
Nah, I feel like you're a collective of, like, the idea that you're a collection of, like, the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Like, and that's...
Because I have this debate
I've
with my
heard that
mother
theory
all the time.
too, is that it's like your like, yeah, that's the 5.
It can change. It can shift. you
Yeah,
know?
but I do think there's something too that, like, you can have that separation from somebody genetically, like how you had that with your father. Like one of my mother's only brother, who's always my whole life he's like lived far away, and so like I have not had that much interaction with him. But, like, my mom would always say that, like, oh, my God, you act just like my brother Bruce. And, like, you know what I mean? And I was never, like, because when I was young, she would always say that, like, it's like I would say something from the other room, and she said she would, like, take a step back and, like, thought it was her brother. You know what I mean? And this is somebody who I've barely spent any time with. And, like, when I got older, I spent a little more time with him, I could see that, like, we were so much alike. And that was just from the genetics from my mom's side. I was just like a boy version, like, you know what I mean? I was just like a young boy version of my uncle mixed in with my dad and my mom, and like, you know what I mean? And without having that connection, so I can understand like what you're saying, like when you have that separation, but like the apple doesn't fall far, you know what I mean? So
yeah, half of my apple tree is unknown. My mom was adopted, so I don't know what half my apple tree looks like. But the other one is a rotten tree.
You ever thought about doing like Ancestry or 23andMe, whatever?
I have the kit at my house. I just
You do?
never took it and sent it
Me and
out.
my brother did it, and it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the Ancestry one for like the family tree aspect of it.
Well, that's
That'd
what's
be cool.
cool. That's
You
what's cool
start it,
about
you
it
start
is
it up.
is when you look at it, they know the relation to people based on how much DNA you share. So like my dad's brother did it, and like it's connected, and it's like it knows that he's my uncle, based on the
how close
we are
DNA.
genetically.
That's wild.
So like my
They've
brother,
harvested all of that information.
Like they knew my brother. When my brother did his, it automatically connected him to my tree and said, "This is your brother." Like even though I didn't know he was going to do it.
So wait, you can actually.
That's how
you
find.
There's literally a physical
No
tree
way.
there, and I can pull up my brother's, and like we're obviously he's my brother, so we're closely genetic, but we have differences in our DNA. So it tells me we have like, you know what I mean, as far as for like our.
Well, let me just put it to you this way. Let's say, like your
third cousins.
Your
fourth
father
cousins.
was a deadhead, right?
Yeah.
So let's say he went and he followed the dead, one summer.
Right.
And
then he had a
and then could you find it?
Yes, absolutely. There is people are connecting to long lost relatives every day because of 23andMe.
All right,
and Ancestry.
Based off of your deadhead theory, this is one of the reasons why I want to do the test. So before I cut relations with my father about 8 years ago, he used to tell me that I have a half sister that has since moved overseas somewhere. He doesn't know where she is, doesn't know a name, nothing, but I have a sister somewhere. And I'm like, I want to know how true it is. And then, do I have any other siblings? Because my dad was a hoe. So, I mean, I think you had the pleasure of meeting that asshole at one point in your life.
I've met your dad in the past, yeah.
Oh, dude. I got
back on Holyoke Street.
Yeah, when he almost ran over Follow with his van.
Yeah.
When I traded Jeremy Santos paintball gun for his yellow jumpsuit, the velvet one.
Oh shit!
Riding around town on my bike. Fucking banana.
Dude, you're bringing it back.
Dude, finding out that all my kids are autistic, and then like talking to their therapists and like check marks and boxes just started going off in my head, and it really started getting me thinking, because I can remember shit as early when I was like a year old, like visually, vividly, like almost like a
picture,
like
photographic memory type, just
a hologram almost like pops up when I think of it, and I can just watch it play out like in real time. It's the weirdest thing. It was the hardest thing to try explaining for so long. But I'm looking like fucking banana in pajamas.
So that was why you wanted to do the 23.
Well, because my dad said that I have a sister or a half sister or something. He was going through a divorce and was messing around with some. I remember some Russian chick, and I supposedly have a half Russian sister somewhere back in Russia.
Well, I'll tell you this: if she's taking a 23andMe and you take your 23andMe, you can literally send her a message. She'll connect you guys on your family tree, and it'll tell you, exactly how much DNA you share. It'll know that it's you guys share paternal DNA.
Well, yeah, that's fine.
And that's only if they also did the test at some point.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
You both have to be participants. And then my mom being adopted, through the adoption agency, she found out who her mother's side of the family is. So like I've met some of them and know that history, but as far as who her father is, no idea. So I guess I would say a quarter of my tree is missing.
Word.
Yeah. Nah, genetics are a weird, cool, like funny thing.
Yeah.
It's crazy though with Ancestry and 23andMe, they literally harvested 3/4 of the country's genetic data.
This is
just
crazy.
like that.
Yeah. Well, there's some, and as it's
a lot of fathers probably made from that program right there.
A lot of people saw their paychecks get doxxed real quick.
Yeah, but that's crazy.
All right, guys. Well, that was a fun little episode today.
Yeah, it was good.
I really appreciated everything that everybody had to share, and
good coffee.
Good coffee. Good bud. Yeah, bud was fucking good, and yeah. No, I really appreciate you sharing what you did, Garrett, and you too again.
Yeah, it was great catching up.
It was cool.
Yeah,
it's been a very long time.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, so yeah, guys, check it out. Opening song was my boy Maniac, spelled like Maine and Yak, and then the song was called "It's an Island." You can check it out in the description. But check us out on the next episode, guys. We'll see you later.
Ciao.
Have a good day.